What is up, guys? Welcome to the South Coast. On today's video, we're swapping the front brake pads on the 2014 Ram 2500. I already did the passenger side. Hopefully the driver's side goes a little bit easier than the passenger side did. So, see if I can film this one for you, give you some guidance on how to swap these brake pads. Let's get to it. I'm going to assume you know how to get your truck jacked up on jack stands safely. If you're not familiar with that process, this might not be the video for you. Alright, so once you got your tire off, there's two bolts here, one up top and one down here on the bottom. You'll need a 16mm socket to break those loose. Get the wheel turned this way, see if you can see them. Can help if you can get your screwdriver in there, push that piston back, take some pressure off of it. Just like that. Caliper can go up top. Then we can take these brake pads out. Alright, so I just have my caliper balancing up here, up top. Probably be smarter to tie it off to like your coil spring or something that you got up here, but for now I'm just going to leave that balanced up there. Take these old pads and these clips out of both sides. Your new pad should come with a new set of these clips to go on there. So those are out of the way. Now next thing we need to do is take these slides out. See, these are super dry. You gotta take these slides out and get them cleaned up and greased up. This is the issue I had on my passenger side. This bottom slide post was bound up in there. It ran out of grease, got rusted, and I had to take this whole bracket off, bring it back to the shop, put it in the vise, heat it up, beat it, and get it off of there. So we're going to take a little bit of Scotch-Brite, clean these up, and then add some grease to them and get them put back in. Just make sure to not spray yourself in the face. That's no fun. Alright, while those holes are drying out, you gotta let that brake clean sort of evaporate out of there. We're gonna go ahead and get the new clips and pads put in. So like I said, your kit should come with a new set of these clips. There should be 4 of them. I like to put a little bit of grease on the outsides of them. We'll dab a little bit on each one. not too much. And then make sure we get it on all the outsides. Once we install them, we'll put some on this inside where the brake pad slides on it. And we'll get the new clips installed. New clips in there, we'll just do a little dab of grease on the inside of each one. Smear it around, make sure it's a light, even coating on there. Your brake pad should also come with some brake grease. I usually put a light coating of brake grease on the back side of each of the pads. Basically, the purpose of that is to help reduce any sort of that high-pitched squealing or squeaking that you'll hear sometimes. The back one was kind of hard to film, but so we'll look at this outside one. Basically, you have these tabs that line up in these clips, and these little springs. Those little springs right there, they ride on this outside of the caliper bracket to basically pull that brake pad away from the rotor when you're not applying brake pressure. Go in like that. Alright, the next thing we have to do is push these pistons back into the caliper. So over time, as your brake pads wear down, these pistons get pushed further and further out just with brake fluid to continue to give you consistent braking pressure. Now we have new brake pads. This gap needs to be much wider to allow this caliper to go over the brake pads, so we got to open them up. The way I do that is take an old brake pad and this tool right here. I'll have this link down in the description. I have an Amazon link down there, but basically this is a caliper compressor. So you get this put in there, and then I'll have to go back and forth several times, but basically just tighten this up by hand, and it pushes that piston back into the cylinder on the caliper. Do one side, take the tool out, reposition it on this other side. Push this piston in. We'll have to go back and forth a couple times to give us enough clearance to get over those new brake pads. Alright, we're going to leave that compressed like that, and we'll get the slide post reinstalled. Well, that's just hanging out. Alright, we've had enough time to let these posts holes dry out, these slides dry out, so we're going to get some grease put in them. I already added some grease to the slide posts themselves, but we'll make sure it's good and lubed up. Make sure there's no grit, sand, anything like that. Make sure these boots are in good shape. That's what failed on my passenger side. The boot had a split in it, so I got water and sand all up in there. It bound up and it was not good. So I got another one of those on order for that side. I'll have to go back in there, take it apart, and replace that on the passenger side. But make sure you check that. All right, now let's see if we got enough space to put this caliper on. If there's not enough gap, we'll have to set this back up and recompress it, but all right, we got our compressor tool pulled back out of the caliper. Make sure we get this twisted around the right way. Let's see if we have enough gap to get this caliper on. See if we can get this top bolt in and then pivot around to the bottom. You gotta make sure you push those slide posts in enough to get the caliper on. There we go. Get our bolt back in. You may have to use a crescent wrench on the flats of these posts to keep them from spinning as you're tightening your bolts down. There is a torque spec for these bolts. I don't know what it is, but I think we'll be just fine with this. On my truck anyway. Your truck, you do the torque spec. You go to the torque spec. You don't listen to me about not going to the torque spec. Make sure you go to the torque spec. Click! Alright guys, from this point on out, I trust that you are capable of getting your wheels put back on, snugged up, getting the truck off of the jack stands, back on the ground, getting your lug nuts torqued to spec. So, I'm going to leave y'all here. I'm going to leave some links to some tools down in the description. If you use those links, it gives the channel a little bit of a kickback, but same price for you on Amazon, so it's a win-win. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. Like I said, make sure you get those slides re-lubricated, make sure you get them cleaned up, put back in there. I'm going to have to take the passenger side back apart once I get the parts in, replace that slide on that side. So I should probably have changed my brakes much earlier than I did, but it is what it is. We're getting it fixed now. Just going to cost a little bit more money, a little bit more time to do it properly now than it would have. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, torque everything to spec. Be safe. Use quality tools, quality supplies, quality brake pads. Anyway, guys, leave me a comment down in the comment section. Let me know if this video was helpful for you. Hit that thumbs up, like I said, and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. As always, we'll catch you next time down here on the South Coast. Y'all have a good one.